Welcome to Rogers Center. The roof is closed. It is raining outside. Mike Scioscia's Angels are in town for the final home series of the season for the Blue Jays, a 4-game series. Angels are in the midst of a 10-game road trip. They are fighting to stay alive in the postseason race. My series tours: Bobby Abreu, Howie Kendrick, top third of the order. Torrey Hunter is the cleanup hitter. Mark Trumbo's had a great rookie season. He's the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year in the American League. Former Blue Jay Vernon Wells having a tough season his first year with the Halos. Peter Borges, Eric Ibar, and Bobby Wilson round out the lineup, and they are set to face Ricky Romero.
Tonight's starting pitcher is brought to you by Icy Hot. Paint is no match for the Icy Hot patch. Ricky Romero will take the mound tonight with his 15 wins. This is his 31st start of the season. He's taken the next step in his development as a pitcher. He beat Boston his last 2 times out. That set his career high in wins with 15. For his career, he's made 5 starts against the Angels. He's 3-2 with a very good earned run average of just 3.24 against the Angels.
First pitch of the ball game is a strike from Romero. We are underway. Meister Isturiz playing third base tonight. Bouncing ball. Brett Flory cuts in front of the shortstop. Isturiz is retired.
Defensively tonight for the Blue Jays, playing behind Ricky Romero, you got to be busy because he throws lots of strikes. Eric Thames, Colby Rasmus, Jose Bautista in the outfield. Brett Laurie, Mike McCoy will be busy on the left side of the infield, as will Kelly Johnson, Edwin Encarnacion on the right side. J.P. Arcega forms the batter, and Eric Thames back in the lineup. Tonight you see that left eye a little swollen after he fouled a pitch off of his face yesterday.
Hey, he's lucky. He's fortunate that he didn't injure himself more severely. Fouled the ball off his eye and knocked his helmet off, but he is good to go tonight. The veteran Bobby Abreu takes an inside pitch from Romero. Abreu's average is down compared to his season normally. He played just about every game for these guys, and once again you can see him checking out Brett Laurie, see if there might be a bunt possibility.
Stays on the ball very well, and he'll take pitches from left-handed pitchers and slice them by the third baseman. Brett Laurie playing way off the line with Abreu at the plate.
There's a lot of room down there if he wants to take a shot at a bunt.
He really stays in against the left-handed pitchers. That front shoulder stays in, and he'll use the whole field.
Under 200 in his last 49 games. And the Angels, they have just not scored many runs, and they've not hit much. Bouncing ball up the middle. McCoy behind second. Good range, and Abreu's retired.
What a play by McCoy for the second out. The scouting report for Ricky Romero brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners slow down the game. That's what he has done since he has been on this nice little roll where he just takes things a little bit slower. He's got a couple of put-away pitches, that very good curveball and that very good changeup, and there's his hot streak. Blue Jays have won 10 of his last 11 starts overall, pitching deep into the game.
Howie Kendrick fouls off the first pitch. It fouled off the mask of J.P. Arancibia. Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, giving Arancibia a little time to clear the cobwebs. Kendrick has hit all over in the lineup, but he's starting to develop just as they expected, hitting .291 for the season.
Had a good series in Baltimore, where the Angels just came from. 3 hits the other night, including that 18th home run.
A good hard breaking ball, and Kendrick is in a hole 0-2. Ricky Romero's pitching with so much confidence right now. You mentioned the great win streak. Blue Jays have really gained beliefs that when they go to the mound with Ricky Romero, they got a chance to win every night.
Yeah, the whole team feels it.
Bounce toward third. Laurie waits on it, unloads in a hurry. Quick inning for Ricky Romero. Just 9 pitches in the first. Romero puts down the Angels in order. contested ball game. They shut out the Yankees yesterday 3-0. Blue Jays are 2 games over 500. Mike McCoy's done a good job filling in for Yunel Escobar, top of the order. Thames Bautista, Adam Lind with a pair of home runs yesterday. Edwin Encarnacion, Kelly Johnson, Brett Laurie at third base, just a tick under 300. Colby Rasmussen, JP Arancibia batting 9th.
Jerome Williams on the mound this evening for the Angels. Jays get their first look at Williams, who will make his 5th start of the season for the Angels. Gave up 3 runs over 4 1/3 innings in his last outing. That was a 6-3 win over Oakland. In that game, he had a little bit of a control problem. He walked 5 batters. He came into that game having walked just 4 in his previous 3 starts.
Jerome Williams, one of 9 starters the Angels have used this season. That was the first pitch strike to Mike McCoy. Interesting path to the Angels. He started out in independent ball this season, pitching in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Angels signed him, sent him to Salt Lake City, and this is his 5th start for Mike Scioscia.
How about that? You're in the Atlantic League one day, and the next thing you know, you're back in the big leagues. 6 years in between wins in the big leagues for Jerome Williams.
Sharply hit, backhanded by Asturias across the diamond.
This is what we were talking about before with Thames. It's an inside fastball, and he tries to fight the ball off, and it just comes right back up. It looked like it hit him in the bill of the hat. And that ricochet off, but it said he got it right in his eyeball. It kind of cut his skin just a little bit. When that first happened, that was scary.
Yeah, it sure was. He's very fortunate that he didn't suffer more serious injury. Got a little bit of a mouse on his left eyelid, but that's about the extent of it. No problem with the vision. He was checked out thoroughly by the doctors and the training staff, and I think he was more embarrassed than anything about the situation. But he's glad to be back in the lineup tonight. Ripped into center field, no problem with his eyes.
First hit of the night for the Blue Jays. Defensively for the Angels, this is a very athletic team. They are 3rd in the American League in fielding percentage. Vernon Wells, Peter Borges, Torrey Hunter, all very good, very fast, good throwing outfield. Meiser, Asturias, Eric Ibar, Kendrick, and Mark Trumbull across the diamond, 3rd to 1st. Harry Wilson behind the plate, and there's Vernon Wells in left field.
Vernon Wells has made 96 starts in left field now. Former Gold Glove center fielder has given up center field to the speedster Peter Borges. Bautista shows a bunt, wanted to have a look at Jerome Williams. There's only 2 Blue Jay hitters in the lineup that have faced Williams in the past, Edwin Encarnacion and Kelly Johnson. They both faced Williams when he was in the National League. Like a little bit of a changeup. Williams came up with the San Francisco Giants initially. Major League career 26-29 in 83 games. He went 7-5 in 2003, his rookie season. He ranked 3rd in the National League in rookie ERA. 6th in innings pitched, worked 131 innings that rookie year. 0-2 to Bautista. Little looper into center field. That gets down in front of Peter Borges. Thames had to hold up to make sure it was safely down. Bautista. Sounds like he broke his bat, but he gets a 1-out single.
What an afternoon yesterday for Adam Lind against Freddie Garcia. Takes that pitch down and away. This is home run number 1 on the afternoon for Lind as he skies that one to right field. This is the more impressive one to dead center field. He goes down and gets that one too. And as Gardner cannot come up with it, Adam Lind swinging the bat with a little bit more authority in the last few days.
7th multi-home run game of his career. pretty good numbers, 26 and 85 in the power department. Blue Jays took 2 of 3 the last time the Angels were here at Rogers Center back in August, and has always enjoyed hitting against the Angels. 22 RBI in 28 games.
And another chance for some RBIs here in the first inning. Outfield plays him the other way. There's a lot of room in right center field if he can get the head of the bat out.
Pulled Trumbo with the backhand. Little hesitation to shortstop Ibar. Williams has it go off of his glove. Thames holds on at third. Jerome Williams got to the bag. The throw was a little bit behind him. He got a piece of it but couldn't make the catch.
It's a very good infield. Very athletic again for the Angels, and they almost come up with it. Trumbo, not really known for his glove, makes a nice play, throws to the outside. Ibar, the return throw, handcuffs Williams just a little bit, and he gets enough glove on it to keep it close enough where Thames cannot score from third base.
Yeah, Williams is fortunate he knocked it down and kept it close to the bag. That saved a run, but he should have made that play. It looked like he was looking for the base the same time he was trying to catch the ball. Keeps the inning alive for the Jays. You mentioned Encarnacion. He has faced Williams. He's 1 for 5 against Jerome Williams. Encarnacion has had a ton of runners on base of late. Over the last week, he's had about 5 opportunities with the bases loaded. He's done okay for his last 14 games. But boy, he's let a lot of runners stranded.
There was a game against the Yankees where he came up 3 times with the bases loaded and just could not scratch out a hit.
Broken bat. Dribbler to second. Kendrick quickly to first, and the Blue Jays waste a first inning opportunity. They leave a couple of base runners. Williams is out of the first inning.
Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Torrey Hunter will start things off for the Angels in the top of the second. Romero had a 1-2-3 first inning, 3 ground ball outs. Gets ahead of Hunter with a strike.
They're going to figure out that Romero is going to be very aggressive early in the count. He has been throwing first pitch strikes his last 3 times to the mound. I think you're going to start seeing some of these Angel batters start swinging early in the count.
Well, that's when Ricky is most effective, when he throws that first pitch strike. Then all of his weapons are in play. Then he can cut the ball, they can throw the curveball, change up, whatever he wants to do. But boy, once he establishes strike one, he's in the driver's seat.
And that is, according to his manager, the thing that he has improved on the most since about the middle of the season. He has been able to control his body a little bit better, which helps him to control his fastball, which helps him to stay in the strike zone a lot longer.
Every player's goal is to get better each year, and Romero certainly accomplished that. He's in control of his emotions, as you mentioned. He maintains a very keen focus.
Yeah, he works hard. He prepares for each one of his starts, and you know, it's a mental thing. It's also a physical thing. And that's where we've seen some of the improvement from Romero this year. But for me, again, it's being able to control his pitches. He's not pulling pitches out of the strike zone like he did early in the season, where he tried to throw the ball too hard at times.
And even early in the season, after he would bounce a pitch like he did to Hunter, he would react. And it would throw him off his game. He'd lose his rhythm and lose his focus. We've not seen that in the second half of the year. Full count. Breaking ball, fouled out of play. Being a successful starting pitcher in the major leagues is a real challenge. You got to work your way through the lineup 3, maybe 4 times. Make some adjustments. That ball is scalded to left center. That ball is gone. Torrey Hunter with a solo home run starts the second. That's home run number 21 for Hunter.
You know, he just keeps rolling along, Torrey Hunter. He did it for years and years with the Minnesota Twins. Comes over to Anaheim, and you can book it every year. 25 home runs, right around 85, 90 RBIs, Gold Glove outfield. He'll mix in a few stolen bases here and there, and just picks on a fastball. It's over the middle of the plate, and he has seen plenty of those in his career. And he knows what to do with it. No doubt about that, to left center.
21st of the season, the Angels are on top. Mark Trumbo goes after the first pitch. Mike McCoy with a nice grab on the short hop, throws him out.
Left fielder number 10, Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells in his second trip back to Rogers Center. Last time he was here, he homered on the first pitch he saw from Brandon Morrow. 22 home runs, but the numbers across the board are down for Wells. Hitting just .219, and he's driven in 59.
Yeah, the 22 home runs, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. But it's the on-base percentage at .252, the RBIs down at 59, the .219 batting average, and he hasn't had a whole lot of luck against his former mates.
When you look at Wells' career average in the big leagues, it's .280. Pops this ball back out of play. Vernon Wells spent 8 seasons here with the Blue Jays, and he had never been within less than 10 games of first place. Now he's enjoying a pennant race. I'm sure he'd like to be more of a contributor, but the Angels still trying to keep hopes alive. Wells is jammed. Lowry throws on the run, on the money.
That's what it's all about with Vernon Wells. It's after all the years that he has played here, playing in a pennant race. He was talking about that the other day when they were down in Baltimore, about getting a chance, the excitement to come to the ballpark the last couple of weeks when every game means something. I mean, that's what you play for. And they are in a race.
They're 4.5 games back of the Texas Rangers in the AL West. Mike McCoy backhanded in time to get Borges. He can fly. Boy, Mike McCoy has really done a good job filling in for Yunel Escobar. Ricky Romero, after a leadoff home run, gets 3 ground ball outs, and defense has been keen behind Romero. Largest LCD TV is 70-inch Sharp Outdoors. Enter online and hit a home run with Sharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger, better. 1-0 Angels lead. Blue Jays set to bat bottom of the 2nd inning. Kelly Johnson, Brett Lawrie, and Colby Rasmus scheduled to face Jerome Williams. Kelly Johnson was 0 for 3 with a walk in yesterday's game against New York. Takes a fastball. Johnson is 5 for 12 against Williams in their previous meetings. It's a base hit. Opposite field, cut off by Vernon Wells. A leadoff single for the Blue Jays here in the 2nd.
Johnson starting to show his bat coming alive against Jerome Williams. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Williams. Back in the show, he last pitched in the major leagues back in 2007. He's got 4 quality pitches. He's got the fastball curve slider and a little bit of a wrinkle in his changeup. He's got the ability to change speeds with all 4 of those pitches. So Williams, he's been around. It's been a long time since he's been back to the big leagues. I'm sure he appreciates this opportunity with the Angels.
Brett Lawrie with Johnson at first. Williams steps off. Blue Jays have had trouble the last several games, missing signs, and you can see Brett Lawrie with a long look down to Brian Butterfield. Kelly Johnson missed a hit and run in yesterday's game, and that caused Edwin Encarnacion to be thrown out at 2nd.
You know, if you think, well, what's the big deal about, you know, a guy missing a hit and run? Well, we've seen it happen against the Blue Jays this year, where those extra 90 feet here or extra 90 feet there, they really come into play. And what you know, with those extra 90 feet at time scores runs.
Well, you play hit and run, even if it's hit to an infielder, chances are you're going to stay out of a double play. You create movement on the infield by starting that runner at first. That might open up a hole for Lawrie, get him a base hit. But it's all about catching the defense flat-footed. Pitch out. John Farrell with his signs to Brian Butterfield, who relays them to Lawrie and Kelly Johnson. Now we just hope everybody gets them.
Yeah. Hit and run, whatever. Bunt, you know, there's all kind of things that you can do, and I love the aggressiveness that the Blue Jays have been putting on on their offense this year. Williams and Wilson and Socha certainly think something is up.
Well, the Angels play this style of baseball. They know how to defend it. They run a lot. They're the best team in the American League going first to third. They will play hit and run. They bunt a lot, so they understand how to defend this type of offense. There goes Johnson. Pitch is taken. Throw to second base in time. Kelly Johnson is tagged out at second. Good strong throw from Bobby Wilson. That's just the 7th base runner he's caught in 27 attempts.
You can see the reaction from John Farrell. It looks like it might have been another hit and run, trying to get something going, and no chance as Johnson is gunned down by Wilson. Wilson's a very good catch and throw receiver.
Well, you hope that's not another missed sign.
Yeah.
There's been an awful lot of conversation between the coaches and the players about that. 1-2 to Laurie. Breaking ball around the inside edge.
Just watching the reaction from the manager and watching the players out there, that might have been another missed sign.
2-2. Popped into right field. Torrey Hunter backs up a few steps. Easy play, 2 down. We mentioned the Angels 4.5 games back in the American League West, but they're just 4 games back in the American League wild card race. And that thing is tightened up.
Yeah. They are keeping their eye on the Boston Red Sox.
Actually, as we speak, they are 3.5 games back, considering that the Red Sox lost today. And the Tampa Bay Rays only a game and a half back.
How about that? Huh? 2 weeks ago, no way, no chance that we were talking about these teams having a chance to get into the playoffs.
And how about this? Bottom of the 1st inning in Boston, Baltimore has a 3-0 lead. John Lackey gave up 3 in the 1st. There has not been a lead of 9 games lost in the playoffs in September. And Boston had a 9-game lead over Tampa Bay on September 2nd. So Mike Socha, you can bet he's peeked at that scoreboard a little bit. Jerome Williams bounces back after a leadoff base hit, strikes out Colby Erasmus, retires the side in order. And they're down 3-0, and there's a look at the wild card standings as we speak.
Getting a little bit too close for comfort. If the Red Sox are going to get it in, they might have to slug their way in, because their pitching staff has a lot of holes right now, especially in the starting rotation with the injuries that they have had.
Bouncing ball to short. What a nice play by McCoy. Boy, he's putting on a clinic at shortstop early on here tonight.
I've got stars all over my scorecard already because of the great plays so far by Mike McCoy. He made one on Abreu, he made one on Borges, and now he's going to come in aggressively, take that ball on the short hop, and then flip it over to first base for the first out. This is a tougher play than you think. You've got to make a decision right away. Do I lay back or do I take it aggressively? And he made the right decision. You lay back on that ball right there, and he beats it out.
Yeah, no telling where it's going to bounce on that next hop, so he took the short hop. Bobby Wilson, the catcher. Offensively, it's been a struggle for Wilson. Hitting just 198. It's jammed on this pitch. Finish up a thought about the Boston Red Sox. With that loss this afternoon at Fenway Park, they have now lost 12 of their last 18 games at home.
At home.
At home, where they're supposed to be dominant.
Where
1-2.
They are dominant there. They won 44 games at Fenway Park.
They're not dominant when it counts.
Wouldn't that be something? Remember how they got off to such an awful start this year, and then they turned it on and pretty much all assured of making the playoffs.
Foul back, 1-2.
But I'm not so sure right now.
People in New England starting to think about 1978. Bucky Dent. How about that? It's been a miserable September for the Red Sox. Breaking ball missed outside. How about the Orioles? They won 9 of 11 games, and they absolutely have nothing to play for other than pride. Broken bat right back to Ricky Romero. We had talked about Ricky Romero being such an improved pitcher, and his bullpen coach Pat Henkin understands why.
When he's throwing his sinker for a strike, and this is a quote from him, he's like, I feel like it's over. That's how confident he is. So when he's pounding the zone low with his fastball, good things are going to happen for the Blue Jays, and I think that's been the key.
8 outs in the game for Ricky Romero, all on the ground.
Isn't that half the battle, though, for a player to know that quote? It's over. I'm winning this game. That's half the battle, being confident like that.
Knowing what you're doing. He has now thrown 8 out of 10 first pitch strikes. 2 in a row to Asturias.
Pounding that fastball down and away, getting ahead. Look at those numbers right there.
It's all about repeating your delivery, and Romero can do that right now. He's in one of those grooves where he could probably throw a strike with his eyes closed. Last 6 home starts, he's a perfect 4-0. Another ground ball. Kelly Johnson takes his time, and Ricky Romero breezes through the 3rd inning. All 9 outs have been on the ground for Romero when that sinker's working. He thinks it's over.
Independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Last home series of the season here at Rogers Center, and some Royal fans out to watch the opening series of the 4-game set against the Angels. J.P. Arancibia takes the first pitch outside. Arancibia and Trumbo, boy, they have been in a race all season long in the power numbers for rookies in the American League. Trumbo with 27 home runs and 82 RBI. Arancibia with 23 homers and 76 RBI.
Good chance it might come down to these two sluggers. Arancibia plays a little bit more important part.
As they drive down the left field line. Vernon Wells plays it off the wall. Arancibia gets the leadoff double. With a man at second and nobody out, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Brian Mattis going into this game was 1-7, and it was kind of an emergency start. He's had a terrible season. The league is hitting .371 against Mattis, and he has coughed up an early lead. So Arancibia leads things off with a double. He's at second. Mike McCoy's got to move him up. Bunts at it, bunts right through it. You got to be on your toes with Wilson behind the plate. He really has a strong arm.
And that's a very tough play for the runner at second base. You know you've got to get a very big secondary lead, and if the batter bunts through that ball, you might get caught out in no man's land. Wilson was thinking about that. He was thinking about throwing down to second base to try and pick off Arancibia.
It's especially tough because Arancibia knows he's got to get a good break at second. So he anticipates. He can see the flight of the ball and then the bat come through that zone. And if you bunt through it, boy, that's a tough one to get back. Again, it happened, and McCoy, instead of squaring around and bunting, tried to push it and jabbed right through it.
Yeah, he might have been better off just going ahead and squaring around and bunting the ball down to the third baseman. He'll probably take it off now with 2 strikes. Infield has moved back on the right side.
Boy, that's an unproductive out right there. Strikeout on 3 pitches as Williams throws him a breaking ball down and away.
Throws it off the plate. And not real accustomed to seeing his breaking ball. Cannot move up Arancibia after the leadoff double.
So Eric Thames now trying to pick up Mike McCoy, see if he can't deliver. Really changes a hitter's mindset, batting with 1 out and the man at second, as opposed to batting with 1 out and the man at third.
He had a couple of very good at bats yesterday with a runner at third base and less than 2 out. Tracked the ball, made sure he got a strike. Picked one of those runs up with a sacrifice fly. He's doing a little bit better job, Buck, I think, in hitting with runners in scoring position here. If you want to be known as an RBI man and you're going to be hit second in the lineup, got to pick those runs up.
Had good swing with that one, but he was out in front. Well, you're right, and you just have to be patient. And you drive in runs by hitting strikes. That's what the good hitters do. And the good RBI guys, they hit with 2 strikes. They make sure they get their pitch in these situations.
Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. We have seen it all season long. Teams coming in here and throwing a lot of pitches off the strike zone.
That's a good pitch. That's that comeback 2-seam fastball from Williams. Catches the inside corner. Jose Bautista on deck. He singled in his first at bat. Ground ball. High bar on the run. Throws out Thames. Aaron Sebia moves up. But now there are 2 outs. Big question now is, does Bautista get anything to hit?
And he was talking about being a little frustrated at times. I think that's why Ibar has come in to talk to him about, hey, remember, this guy's driven in 100 runs here. Let's don't give him anything good to hit. But Jose was talking about that the other day, about at times getting frustrated because he doesn't get a whole lot to hit, but he stays within himself. And, you know, if they end up walking, he'll pass the baton.
Bautista's had 105 at bats with runners in scoring position. He's been issued 57 walks.
So more than half the time he doesn't get anything to hit.
Well, actually, it's plate appearances would be 162 plate appearances, 57 walks. That translates into 105 at bats. But he rarely gets much to hit in this situation. And it doesn't make any difference how hot Adam Lind is behind them. Managers just won't give in.
Yeah, you pick the guy who you don't want to have beat you. And night in and night out, it's Jose Bautista.
There he expanded a bit, knowing that he's not going to get much to hit.
RBI men at times will go outside the strike zone to knock in runs. Remember, Albert Bell was talking about that when he was with the Cleveland Indians. He felt like he had to go outside the strike zone sometimes to drive in big runs.
You can see where Bobby Wilson, the catcher, is setting up. He's off the plate to begin with. And now he's looking in to make sure that they just don't want to walk him. Now look at Wilson, remind him, don't make a mistake now.
He may as well just stick his right arm out like in the intentional walk. Look at where he is. Wanted no part of it.
No, they weren't going to throw to him. So it's another walk for Bautista. He now has 58 walks in 163 plate appearances. Socia just gave Bobby Wilson the defensive play for first and third situation. Two outs, first and third. Blue Jays down by a run. Aaron Sebia with the leadoff double. He's at third. Bautista with the walks at first. Bobby Wilson keeping a close eye on the skipper, just in case they want to guess with the Blue Jays. Call a pitch out. Bouncing ball, foul.
My guess is that they would probably not run here. Take the bat out of Lynn's hand. They've got a hole on the right side of the infield where he can just kind of shove one through for the RBI single. And I don't think they would try and double steal with J.P. Arencibia, the runner at third base. With the Angels preparing for everything.
Ball on the strike. Good job by Lynn to lay off that changeup.
That's a dangerous pitch. If he misses his spot with that changeup to Adam Lynn and the way he has been hitting off-speed pitches the last couple of days.
Hit 2 home runs on a pitch, a couple of pitches in the same area yesterday. He might not give in to Lynn. Now Encarnacion on deck. Mike Socia knows the scouting report, knows that Encarnacion has not been producing with runners on base of late, and might like the right on right matchup even with the bases loaded. Popped him up. Playable. Bobby Wilson flips the mask aside. The catcher makes the catch, and the Blue Jays waste a golden opportunity. A leadoff double. And they can't take advantage. Buffalo Bills will play the Washington Redskins right here. For tickets, log on to BillsInToronto.com, and you can pick up all the tickets, all the information you need. But it's going to be a great start, and we are thrilled to be joined by Nick Barnett, linebacker from the red-hot Buffalo Bills. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's my first time in Toronto. It's pretty fun.
It's a good city, believe me. We know that. Well, congratulations. What a great start for your ball club.
Oh, thanks, man. It's you know what? To be honest, everyone's been naysaying us all through training camp and everything, and we've just been confident in ourselves and our team, and fortunately, we've been able to play the way we played, and we're 2-0.
2-0. You went on the road and beat my Chiefs in Kansas City, and then you came home and beat the Raiders. It's got to be a great feeling for you to get off to such a great start. How about your first game? 14 tackles, a forced fumble in the third quarter. Pretty good way to impress the home folks, huh?
I tell you what, I'd rather have 3 tackles and they only have 7 points. I'll tell you that. It was a lot of work. That McFadden was a big back, and it was a fun game. Don't get me wrong. Anytime you get a game like that, a shootout, and those guys running the ball, and the way our team, the heart that we had, getting over the diversity. So it was an awesome game to be a part of.
Another ground ball out from Ricky Romero.
Talk a little bit about the emotion of football. You guys are 2-0. I don't know if you've expected to be there, but that can get the ball rolling in a good way, can it?
Oh, definitely. Did we expect to be there? We expect to win everything we play. To be honest, you got to have that type of confidence in the NFL. But to start off 2-0 in the NFL is huge. And, you get that momentum and you get that confidence and that swag, we like to say, and then the rest will take care of itself. We got some things we got to correct, but it is only week 2, just like every other team. So, man, it started off in the right path. We just got to continue to go do what we do.
Talk about the enthusiasm now. You're 2-0, and you got New England next, and that's got to be a great incentive for you guys.
Oh, man, that's going to be one heck of a game, I tell you what. Being in this division, I was in the NFC North where we placed, we had our division rivalries, which were the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears. And this, from what I hear from all the fans, they're like, oh, we don't care if you win one game of the season as long as it's against the Patriots. So, that's our goal, is to beat the Patriots, and it's going to be a big game for us. If we come 3-0 and beat the Patriots, oh, my gosh.
This is a great opportunity for fans here in Toronto, and it's not that bad a trip. It's been a series now. It's going to be a 5-year series to come up here in Toronto. Tell us what the players think about coming here to Toronto to play the Redskins.
I'm actually excited. This is my first time here, and I did not expect Toronto to look the way, when I pulled up, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So I'm excited to be here, and I think all the other players are excited to be here. On October 30th, we're going to have this stadium rocking. We're going to get some football out here. It's going to be some hits. We're going to knock some heads off, and it's going to be fun.
Nick, first of all, you got to hold your hand up so you can show our fans what we all play for, the Super Bowl ring from Green Bay, and that's just a gorgeous ring, and oh my, you should be very proud of that. You spent 8 years in Green Bay, and that's one of the best franchises in football history.
We always like to joke, we had to spend 8 years in Green Bay. At least we could have got a ring out of it. So we're glad. At least we got a ring.
Nick Barnett, thanks for your time. Enjoy your time in Toronto. We look forward to that October 30th football game.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Thanks for having me. Make sure you buy your tickets. Let's go. October 30th. It's going down.
Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. Edwin Encarnacion takes a pitch outside for a ball. Angels lead it 1-0. Torrey Hunter with a leadoff home run in the second. John Farrell talking to Brett Lawrie and might be discussing that hit and run, the signs, and the fact that Kelly Johnson was thrown out with Lawrie at the plate. Lawrie took a pitch.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that play he made against Howie Kendrick last half inning. That was a beauty on that slow chopper.
I think he's exceeded all expectations defensively. Playing a first year at third base, and he's got terrific range. He and J.P. Aronsebi are roommates and obviously very close. They started rooming together in spring training.
His athleticism is the thing that, you watch him cover the ground at third base, and it's like watching Ryan Zimmerman, Mike Schmidt, some of the better third basemen that I have seen in my lifetime.
3-2 leadoff batter here in the fourth inning. Blue Jays down by a run. Encarnacion, Johnson, and Lawrie scheduled hitters here in the inning. Jerome Williams, what a story for Williams, coming out of independent ball, signed in June with the Angels, and Encarnacion takes the leadoff walk. Man on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Braves, they're kind of spinning out of control as well. They had a real problem yesterday with their great bullpen. Johnny Venters threw 9 straight balls, walked in a run, and then Craig Kimbrell gave up a home run to Lucas Duda. First time he has given up a home run since May. But those two young pitchers might be running out of gas down the stretch. The Braves just 7-11 in the month of September. They hold a 3.5 game lead over the Cardinals. That's right, the Cardinals.
Yeah. 59th game this year that both Venters and Kimbrell pitched for the Braves. First of those games in which Venters and Kimbrell were both charged with runs. I mean, that's how good those two have been out of the bullpen.
The Braves left 15 on base yesterday in a loss to the Mets. They were just 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. 2 balls and a strike. Kelly Johnson. He singled to left off Williams back in the second inning, but then was thrown out. We're not sure if it was a straight steal or a botched hit and run. Off the end of the bat, Williams barehands it, goes to second and throws it away. All hands are safe. Williams made an athletic play to barehand it, but then rushed the throw and threw it to the shortstop side of second.
What an athletic play by the pitcher, Jerome Williams, to get it. Probably would have been happy now if he thought about it and got on top and just got one. But he tried to make the acrobatic play, throw on the run and throw from down under to try and get the double play. First of all, look at that play right there. That's an athletic play. And then throws it from under, and he can't get it there on time. A little off target, and all hands are safe.
Good timely meeting by Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, just to come out and try to help Williams regroup a little bit, slow things down. Marvin Hudson open up out to speed things along. So the Blue Jays again have something going against Williams. Remember, they had a leadoff double last inning and couldn't cash in. Now it's first and second, nobody out. Brett Lawrie will bat. Lawrie popped up to right his first time up. down and away. Blue Jays already in this ball game are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
They now have had 6 runners on base, and they have yet to knock one in. Had a couple of hits in the first inning and couldn't score a run. See if the error sets him up here.
Bobby Wilson, the catcher, doesn't leave any doubt as to where he wants to pitch. He sets up on the outer half and presents a very animated target to his pitcher.
Can catchers set up too far outside?
Well, it just depends on what they're trying to do. I mean, he wants to make sure Williams doesn't leave anything inside to Laurie. Back on the plate there. Goes around according to the count and according to your pitcher's control.
I'm just thinking about that at bat from Bautista where he was way off the plate and it's not even close to throwing strikes.
I think that was the object. Don't throw anything close to Bautista. And he walked. The bases are now loaded. The bases are loaded. We're only a grand slam away from awarding a 70-inch Sharp Aquos Quadron TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Mike Butcher on the phone. Now looking back at the phone. Remember, yesterday the Yankees had trouble with their bullpen phone. But it seems as though the communication is repaired because the pen is up and throwing. 2 walks in the inning. The error by the pitcher contributing to the bases loaded. Colby Rasmus. Rasmus struck out his first time up. Another great opportunity early in this ball game for the Blue Jays. Bouncing ball. Trumbo's going to come home for one. Back to first. Double play. A 3-2-3 double play. Trumbo did a good job of unloading in a hurry, throwing a strike to Bobby Wilson, and then got back to the bag.
You know, anywhere but there to the first baseman where his momentum is coming home. That was the only way that they were going to cut a run down. If he has to move left or right, he'll go around the bases, but you can see it's the high chopper. He comes right in. This is tailor-made. Right to the first baseman, who goes to home for one and then back to Trumbo at first base for a big double play.
Bases loaded, nobody out now. Second and third and 2 out. JP Arencibia doubled.
JP been doing a better job lately of leveling out his swing just a little bit more, hitting strikes and hitting them hard, using the whole field.
Right side base hit. Arencibia knocks in one. Here's the second one right behind. Brett Floyd. Kelly Johnson score. Arencibia delivers with 2 outs. Boy, what a piece of hitting. Just shot one through the right side to pick up his teammates.
I mean, about using the whole field and staying a little bit more balanced at the plate, recognizing pitches, and then hitting good pitches. This is another pitch that's down and away, and you see he couldn't hit that pitch the first part of the year. He's balanced at the plate. It's a little bit more level swing, a little bit shorter, and he just squibs one through the right side to score. Both Johnson and Laurie, and the Jays take the lead.
Big 2-out hit for Arencibia. 77 and 78 RBIs now, and there you're looking at the 2 top rookies in the American League. Mark Trumbo and JP Arencibia, both having outstanding rookie seasons.
JP playing a premium position at catcher. That might give him the nod the last 2 weeks of the season.
You'd have to think that there's going to be some weight in his favor because he is catching every day and he's become the regular catcher. McCoy is in a hole, 1-2. JP Arencibia 2 for 2 tonight. Mark Trumbull. You mentioned Trumbull with 82 RBI. Arencibia closing in on it. Hopped up, foul ground. Trumbull over near the seats, and it's back out of play. Blue Jays lead it 2-1. Jerome Williams with a couple of walks. He committed an error in this inning, contributing to the 2 runs. JP Arencibia came through with a clutch 2-out single to right.
It's been his problem his last couple of times out, his command.
Missed the inside corner, 2-2.
Jerome Williams, his first 4 starts for the Angels, he had walked just 3 batters. And then he had 5 of them his last time out and 4 1/3. And now tonight he has had a couple. Check that, he's had 3 in 4 innings.
Arencibia breaks towards second, and Williams steps off and throws to second. Arencibia a little ahead of himself as he thought Williams was going to unload. He's thrown out at second. Jerome Williams showing his experience, never panicked. He saw the big break, calmly steps off and throws to second to retire the Blue Jays. By visiting the new Hit a Home Run with Sharp Facebook page. Ricky Romero back on top, 2-1. Romero has given up just 1 hit. That was a solo leadoff home run to Torrey Hunter that started the second. Twelve outs registered by Ricky Romero, 11 of them on the ground. Torrey Hunter is the only one that's hit the ball in the air. He's done it twice, once it left the ballpark.
Pound down, stay down in that strike zone, and you'll get a lot of ground ball outs.
The veteran Torrey Hunter delivering his 21st home run of the season. That breaking ball from Romero.
His best games, Romero, is when he's got all those pitches working, and then he can use them at any time. Throw that curveball when he's behind the count. He'll throw it for a strikeout pitch. Change up, 2-0. Change up with 2 strikes. I mean, there's all kind of different ways he can get you out.
This is high and deep to center. Hobie Erasmus is running out of room. Mark Trumbull has just tied it up. A high fastball. Trumbull his 28th of the season, and we're tied at 2.
Well, we were just talking about Ricky Romero keeping the ball down and getting a lot of ground ball outs. And you start elevating the baseball to players like Trumbo. He's big with a very powerful swing. Watch where this ball is. They wanted it down and in and is up and away. Right in his wheelhouse, and he's able to get on top of it.
Yep, that's a bad miss. You miss that far, and Trumbo has so much power. And he can take you deep anywhere. Vernon Wells gets straightened up. Trumbo now 28 home runs and 83 RBI. Mickey Hatcher, the hitting coach for the Angels, said that he's only had one other player in his tenure as a hitting coach that's had power that Trumbo has shown, and that was Juan Gonzalez. Pretty good comparison. Vernon Wells slaps one through the right side. Trumbo's in his rookie season for the Angels, and they've had some great rookies over the years. You see where he ranks in rookie home runs. He's now just 3 behind Tim Salmon. Salmon broke in at 93. Ken Hunt had a 25 home run season in the inaugural Angels season 50 years ago. Big Thomas also that same year with 24. Devon White, former Blue Jay, had a big year in 87. But Mark Trumbo leads the pack for Angel rookie home runs.
He saw J.P. Arancibia get that 2-out base hit and said, okay, whatever you can do, I can do better.
You mentioned these two are leading contenders for the AL Rookie of the Year this year.
They played against each other last year.
Ground ball. McCoy quickly to second for one. Back to first. Boy, what a good turn by Kelly Johnson. It is hard to double up Peter Borges. He can run. Johnson really made a quick pivot. McCoy with the underhand shovel.
You've got to charge everything and be aggressive. That's what McCoy and Johnson do with that, because you're right, Borges can get down that line. Ball just ricocheted over to first base from Johnson. Good turn at second base.
Only the 7th time Borges has been doubled up on a ground ball. Eric Ibar, he'll bunt. He's got the speed to bunt. He has 13 bunt base hits this season. He and Peter Borges, they both bunt a lot.
Ibar had some kind of game yesterday, didn't he? 4 extra base hits in Baltimore, a couple doubles, a couple of home runs. The whole team, in fact, had 15 hits.
There's that bunt. He tried to push it up the first baseline. Eric Ibar tied a franchise record by scoring 5 runs. That ties Tim Salmon, the aforementioned Tim Salmon. Salmon did it in 98. But Ibar had a couple of doubles and 2 home runs. He had 12 total bases. That also ties a franchise record. Mike McCoy near the bag at second. Goes wide. He knew he had to rush the throw with Ibar getting out of the box so quickly, and threw it wide of the mark.
He's played a good shortstop tonight, Mike McCoy. You're right. He knew he had to hurry with Ibar running. Has to leave his feet to get the ball, and then the ball sails on him. Probably be an infield hit once he left his feet. No chance to get Ibar when he came back down.
So Ibar's at first with 2 outs. Another ground ball. This one's foul. Ibar indeed picked up an infield hit. Ibar's a threat to run as well. He has 28 steals. Dino Ebel, the third base coach. Another bouncing ball. McCoy will go to the bag and beat Ibar to second. Romero gets out of the 5th, but the Angels, another solo home run. This one by Mark Trumbo, have tied it up 2-2. photography and in-depth analysis from Canada's top sports journalists, including Shai Navidi, Michael Grange, and Mark Spector. Be the first to get it. Subscribe today at sportsnet.ca/magazine. Some young fans on hand here tonight. Final opportunity to see the Blue Jays play at home this season. And it's a 2-2 game. Mike McCoy was at the plate when J.P. Arencibia got thrown out at second, and McCoy hits one hard, but it's snagged by Meiser Asturias.
Sometimes when you play against the Angels, it's like there's 6 or 7 infielders because they're all very good. They're all very similar. Small in stature, very athletic. They move around. They can all play different positions on the infield.
Ibar is the regular shortstop. This is his 134th start at short. Asturias making his 34th start at third base. Howie Kendrick's improved dramatically defensively at second. Kendrick was an offensive player when he came to the big leagues, but Howie Kendrick has worked awfully hard at improving his defensive skills. And now it's become a strength of his, and Trumbull shows good hands for a big guy.
Yeah, when he was in spring training, they were saying that's not the big part of his game defensively, but he has worked hard also, and he looks good. Remember, this is the team, the Angels, that is missing Kendry Morales. He was going to be their first baseman. He was a very good fielder also.
Kendry Morales last year broke his foot celebrating a home run. He jumped on home plate, broke his ankle, and then just didn't get any better. He had to undergo another surgery this summer. They hope to get him back next year, but who knows? Trumbull can't handle that hot shot. Skips right over his glove. Torrey Hunter gets to it. Thames is trying to stretch it into 2, and he is gunned down. The Gold Glover, Torrey Hunter, playing in right, has just set a new career high for outfield assists. That's his 15th of the season.
And the whole play was made because he got over there quickly. He's got a strong, very accurate arm in right field. Thames rips the ball by Trumbull and then assumes that this ball is going to get down into the wall. But look how quickly and athletically Hunter can get over, turn 360, and make an accurate throw.
Well, he deserves a lot of credit. He's a center fielder that has moved over because of the athletic ability of Peter Borges, and he didn't pout. He just went over there and learned how to play right. He made a good play. That's 15 assists now for Hunter. His previous high had 14 assists. This year he also had 14 back in 2001 with the Twins as a center fielder. But he's adapted very well.
9 Gold Gloves. The thing that was impressive about that is the accuracy.
Jerome Williams is pumped up by the fine defensive play in right, and he pumps one by Jose Bautista. Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 2-2 ball game. 6th inning. Top of the order, Meiser Asturias takes the first pitch strike. The Angels have 4 hits off Ricky Romero, 2 of them solo home runs. They have had a tough season offensively. 16 times the Angels have been held to 4 hits or less. And Carnacion ranging to his right tosses to Romero, and Asturias is retired.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ricky Romero's done a great job is keeping the ball on the ground. He got a couple of balls up, and Torrey Hunter and Mark Trumbull knocked the ball out of the ballpark, and that's the only runs Romero has allowed, but it's a 2-2 game. Wow, that got Marvin Hudson on the right hand. That foul ball bounced up and hit him on the right hand. Looked like got him right on the end of that index finger. So Aaron Sevilla extending the courtesy to the umpires, and umpires extend to the catchers. Went out and had a little meeting. You see he had it right on his right thigh, and it just bounced off. And how'd that hit him?
I don't know.
That was really strange, but it certainly looked like it hit him. Maybe it just jolted his shin guard. It looked like it hit him on the leg, and he might have got pinched with that shin guard. He had it set on his right thigh. 1-2, 1 out.
Brayu's always had a great eye at the plate. Tough to strike him out. Puts the ball in play. Third time through now for the Angels, and Romero's numbers are very good.
Boy, he jammed Abreu with that pitch. And it right inside.
I like Romero. He's given up the home runs, 2 leadoff home runs, 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 5th inning, but he is just staying with his idea. He hasn't struck out a batter tonight. But you can see he's got that game face on. He's just staying within his plans.
There are times when strikeouts are important. But in a game like this, Romero has had that sinking fastball working, and he's really been economical. Chris Walton loves Romero's work ethic and how he prepares for games. And John Farrell believes that Romero has taken a step toward being a legitimate ace.
Oh, boy, he certainly has. He couldn't stop talking about Romero before today's game, about all the improvements that he has seen from Ricky this year. Not in just the numbers, and we talked about that in the opening, but everything else that he has done for this club as the leader of that pitching staff.
Abreu waits on that breaking ball and rifles it into center. A 1-out base hit. We talk about Romero being the leader of this pitching staff, and you see his season record, 15-10, very good ERA. And look at the record for the rest of the starters. They are 10 games under with an ERA over 5. And that's not really to point out anything other than Ricky Romero needs some help.
Yeah, and he's been very, very good. 5 games over as opposed to 10 games under.
When you think about becoming a contending ball club, it's all centered around your starting pitching. And the best example of that is right across the diamond, the Angels. The trio of Weaver, Heron, and Santana have combined for 44 wins. No other trio in the American League even come close to that number of wins, innings pitched, or ERA. They have thrown 672 innings and have a combined ERA of 3.01. That's how you contend. They have had such a disappointing season offensively. They haven't been able to take advantage of that great starting pitching.
And in a short series with those three pitchers you're just talking about, I'll take my chances.
They're a dangerous team.
And I like what they have done as they have set up their pitching staff to get Jared Weaver an extra start. He went on 3 days rest yesterday and beat Baltimore. And if you look a little bit into the future with them, they have that pitching staff set up for the last 3 games of the season. They will be at home versus Texas, and they've got Heron, Santana, and Weaver all ready just in case they need them.
And Mike Scioscia before the game said, you know what, all of that's well and good, but we have to win games. So right now we're not at a point where those 3 games make any difference. Kendrick fouls that ball off his foot. So Mike Scioscia, he has been down this road before. He's been to the postseason. He has expectations every year of going to the postseason. Won the World Series in 2002.
Just when you think you could count them out because, well, you know, they don't have enough hitting, or they don't do this, or they don't do that. They've got holes in their bullpen or wherever. All of a sudden they get together and they put together a nice little run and get back into it.
The inconsistent offense has really plagued them all year long. We mentioned 16 times they've been held to 4 hits or less. They have not hit well with runners in scoring position. 2-2. Cut on and miss. With 2 outs and a man on, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Baltimore got Brian Mattis out of the game. Jakubowskis, the reliever, has come in, so he's hopeful of trying to keep the Red Sox down, give his hitters a chance. Torrey Hunter bounces this towards second. Johnson steps on the bag. The inning is over. Ricky Romero in a 2-2 tie. Center. Hope you're enjoying those great seats in a front row opportunity to watch the Angels and Blue Jays. Chris Walton and Ricky Romero having a conversation on the bench. Ricky Romero now has established a new career high in innings pitched. Boy, what a season he's had. Gotten better all the time. And he's a guy Bruce Walton will use as an example, pointing out Ricky's side sessions, how they're just like a game. He works at them like he was pitching a game, and I'd like to see some of his pitchers get into that routine.
You don't have to fire the ball, 100% on your side session. It's just get out there about 80%, but you got to have focus, and you have to have a plan and an idea.
Bouncing ball to first. Trumbo waves Williams off and takes it himself.
I like the 31 starts this year for Romero. He made 32 last year, what was a career high, and he'll probably beat that. He's already passed his innings. He had 210 last year. He got 214 this year. And all the numbers that we talked about in the opening, all the good ones are up. The wins, ERA is down. He's had a great year.
And he's been a good leader. He's been the guy that will stop skids. He has pitched well in the second half. And he knows that this is not where he wants his team to be. He wants to be worried about the last 10 days of the season and how the Blue Jays are going to get into the postseason. That's his ultimate goal. Ball on his strike. Encarnacion hits it on the ground. Ibar waits on it. 2 outs.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ricky Williams has done a nice job tonight. Well, we've got to give Jerome Williams, Ricky Romero, and Jerome Williams, they've both thrown the ball well. Kelly Johnson gives us a ride to left center. Vernon Wells on the warning track, hauls it in. Quick inning for Jerome Williams. Just 6 pitches in the 6th. It's a 2-2 tie. And with that in mind, purchase your 2012 season tickets by December 2nd, and you'll receive a Blue Jays authentic jersey, a $100 gift card at Jay's Shop, and a 1-year subscription to the new Sportsnet magazine. Receive great benefits and attend exclusive season ticket holder events all season long. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234, or you can log on to BlueJays.com. Mark Trumbo tied it up in the top of the 5th with a leadoff home run high and deep to center field. His 28th home run of the season. Bounce that ball off home plate. We mentioned Ricky Romero and J. Pierre and Sebia. They are really close. They always go to breakfast on the days Romero's pitching, talk about the game plan. But when you catch a pitcher so long, the subtleties are really valuable. If you give him one pitch and he shakes it off, you know exactly where he's going on the next pitch. Curveball gets Trumbull as he bounced it in the dirt. Aaron Sebia goes to first.
And that'll keep you in a nice little rhythm out there where you're not shaking off, stepping off, going through a whole set of signs. You're staying together. And you can see Romero, he hasn't shaken off Aaron Sebia a lot tonight. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with Mark Trumbull with 2 strikes. He went right to the curveball and kept Romero in that nice little rhythm.
Vernon Wells. Romero bounces that sinker ball. Wells got a single through the right side of the infield his last time up. Aaron Sebia took that ball off the inside of his left foot. That's why he's getting a little break from the umpire. That ball bounced and caught him right inside that left foot. So much padding with those shin guards, but that ball has a way of finding the bare spots.
The last time that the Angels were in town here, you and I got a chance to sit down with Mike Scioscia and talk about the relationship between the catcher and the pitcher. And he went through so many very interesting things that go on, you know, even before the game starts between the catcher and that night's starting pitcher. He said the most important thing is the communication. And I think that's what you're seeing between Romero and J.P. Arencibia here as we get deep into this season. JP didn't catch him last year. Remember, that was John Buck, and he had all kind of trouble with him early in the season. Ricky's a difficult guy to catch because his stuff is so good.
According to Jose Molina and John Buck last year, Ricky Romero was the toughest pitcher they have caught because that changeup moves in so many different directions, and it's unpredictable. Wells gets jammed on this pitch and lifts a lazy fly ball into center. 2 down. Mike Scioscia's standard for catchers are through the ceiling. And he said one of the most important things after communication is the catcher's ability to catch strikes. To take a borderline pitch and turn it into a strike. He said on a 1-1 count, if it is pushed out of the zone, it becomes a 2-1 count, which is dramatically different than a 1-2 count. And that's what he loves about Bobby Wilson, the way he catches the ball.
His approach and his ability to receive the ball and keep it in the strike zone. I like how he makes his catchers repeat the pitches of one given inning.
They have to recite during spring training a sequence of pitches they call during a game. Mike Scioscia learned that from Del Crandall, the great catcher of the Milwaukee Braves, with Warren Spahn and Lou Burdette, Johnny Sane. Crandall was Scioscia's manager in AAA. In one inning, he ran by him and said, "What'd you throw that inning?" That's a good curveball. Aaron Sebia gets on it quickly, goes to first, and Borges is retired. Pair of strikeouts in the inning for Ricky Romero. 2-2 ball game, middle of the 7th. more home games this season. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, they're all night games, and the Angels will be in town for the wrap-up of this home schedule. Call Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 for tickets. Log on to BlueJays.com, or you can always stop by most Rogers Plus locations and pick up your Blue Jays tickets. Brett Laurie pops this one up, middle of the diamond. Jerome Williams pointing straight up. Now he better get out of the way. Meiser Sturz could have caught it, but Mark Trumbo towers over him, and he makes the catch.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mike Scioscia, very slow, deliberate walk, has made the call to the bullpen. He'll take the baseball from Jerome Williams, who gives him a very good start. Williams pitches into the 7th, goes 6 1/3, and holds the Blue Jays to 2 runs on 6 hits. Yoshinori Takahashi, the left-hander, will come in to face Colby Erasmus when we return. Angels gives them 6 1/3 of 6 hit ball, and he leaves it in a 2-2 tie.
And no earned runs for Williams. The 6 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts as he pitches into the 7th inning. Just what Mike Scioscia was looking for from Jerome Williams. What a story he has been this year. From the Atlantic League to the big leagues in a pennant race. Yoshinori Takahashi will take over, the little left-hander, 36 years old. Spent most of his career for the Yomiuri Giants over in Japan. Pitched for the Mets last year. He has a save this year. He's been in 55 games, which is a career high for him. Doesn't blow the ball by you, but he's very good against left-handers. He's got a little bit of a hesitation move. Will bend that curveball against him. So Mike Scioscia is going to use him against Colby Rasmus.
Takahashi was the losing pitcher in a 5-4 Blue Jays win in 10 innings here back on the 14th of August. Edwin Encarnacion had an RBI single against Takahashi to win the ball game. Colby Erasmus jumps on the first pitch and hits a bullet to Howie Kendrick, who makes the catch. Rasmus hit it hard.
Sitting all over that fastball, and if that ball gets by Kendrick on this turf, that might go all the way to the wall, and it could be 3. Heading right for that gap. But Kendrick plucks it off the turf.
J.P. Aronsebi has had a good night. He doubled to lead off the 3rd and came up with a 2-run, 2-out single to right in the 4th. Two of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year in this ball game, and they have both had an impact. Mark Trumbo had a solo home run in the 5th. That tied the ball game at 2-2. his 28th home run of the season, and Aaron Sebia has driven in the Blue Jays 2 runs. The changeup.
They battled each other last year for the PCL MVP, and it was J.P. Arencibia who came up with that. And this year they'll probably battle each other for the Rookie of the Year.
Another changeup, and Arencibia chases it. One and two, 2 outs. And Sebia golfs it to left, but that'll stay in the park. Vernon Wells camps under it. Takahashi comes out of the bullpen and retires the final 2 batters here in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th in a 2-2 ball game. From anywhere, online or on the go at RogersOnDemand.com.
Mike McCoy has played a very solid shortstop. Watch this one where he backhands it and throws a very fast Peter Borges out at first base. He made beautiful plays the first 3 innings of this ball game. None better than that one there against Borges.
Handled the ball on 6 plays on the infield, including a very good double play that you mentioned, the Borges play earlier, and then he doubled up Peter Borges. Luis Rivera, the coaching assistant here, talking with Escobar. Escobar was out earlier getting some work in, and he's still having trouble with that left elbow. Doesn't have full range of motion in that left elbow. He was hit by a pitch in the back of that left elbow, and he's still not close to playing.
He looked very tentative as he's fielding those ground balls. He's out here throwing a little bit. He did some running, so hasn't been able to swing a bat. He's got some swelling in that left elbow. And still not ready to participate. Still day-to-day listed by the Blue Jays.
Eric Ibar, we mentioned Ibar with 13 bunts. Juan Pierre of the White Sox leads the American League with 19 bunt base hits. Brian Butterfield reminding the infielders of the defense against Ibar, making sure they all are in the right spot. Bounce to Kelly Johnson. He was in the right spot. First out of the 8th.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful downtown Toronto. CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. Wow, what a pretty city. One out. Catcher Bobby Wilson. Oh, and 1 out. This ball is pulled down the third baseline and it goes foul.
What a run that Romero has been on since, maybe the middle of June, end of June, beginning of July. He is just pitching deep into ball games, giving his team a chance to win. Since July the 16th, the only team to beat him has been the New York Yankees. They've beaten him twice. He has won every game, had a couple of no decisions.
Ball gets away from Aaron Sebia, but he has plenty of time and goes to first. That's a strikeout, number 4 for Romero.
And they have all come in the last few innings for Ricky, as he was using his defense early in the game, and now he's going to take it upon himself to finish off these hitters. Looked like a changeup that was down and away.
Well, early in the game, the sinker ball was working very effectively. Now he's used the changeup and the curveball for the strikeouts. There's a bouncing ball back to the mound. Romero takes his time. Oh, what a good inning in the 8th. Just 7 pitches by Romero. A 1-2-3 8th inning. We're 2-2 here, middle of the 8th. Time for a connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry broadcast. On your Rogers smartphone, now available for all Rogers customers. Sign up today at RogersOnDemand.com. You can take the Blue Jays wherever you go. Keep up to date. Blue Jays will finish up this homestand, 3 more games with the Angels, and then they'll take their last road trip of the season. Tampa Bay and Chicago. How about that first time we go to Chicago this year?
It's like last year. Remember, we didn't go to Minnesota until the last series of the season. Same thing this year. Go to Chicago. We were talking earlier about the 2012 season and, the excitement that as we were trying to sell some of those tickets. This is going to be a fun team, I think. The AA team was outstanding this year, winning the Eastern League, and we'll probably see some of those players here next year. It's an organization that's on the rise.
A lot of good talent in the minor leagues. Very successful season in the minor leagues. They won a couple of league championships. They had 4 managers of the year, several all-stars, and a couple of MVPs. Mike McCoy looks at a pitch down and away. Blue Jays will open up their home schedule next year, April 9th, against the Boston Red Sox. Alex Anthopoulos, the GM of the Toronto Blue Jays, has had a very productive first season at the helm. Boston Red Sox, a 3-game series. Then the Baltimore Orioles and Tampa Bay. Long homestand to open up the season. Next April 9th, it all begins.
That's the home opener right there. They'll open up in Cleveland to start the season.
Looking ahead to the interleague portion of the schedule, the Mets will be here in May for a 3-game weekend series, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Then the Washington Nationals come into town June 11th, 12th, and 13th, and the Philadelphia Phillies over the weekend, 15th, 16th, and 17th of June.
Could that be the World Series champion Phillies by then?
anything's possible.
Yeah, I know that. They got 98 wins.
They got 98 wins, but you don't get any points for wins in the postseason.
No, that's true.
You have to pitch, and they can pitch. They have a great front end of their rotation with Hamels, Lee, and a fellow named Halliday. Ball is poked down the right side. That's slicing out of play. I tell you what, if you could somehow figure a way to get Justin Verlander, Doug Fister, Max Scherzer, and Rick Porcello, that's a pretty good rotation. And that big guy at the end, Jose Valverde. Joaquin Benoit has started to throw the ball better in the second half of the season.
He hasn't blown a save, Valverde, this year, has he?
No. Strike 3 call. Takahashi strikes out Mike McCoy. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Let's check in with Jamie Kemble. Well, you just knew it, and you said it too, that they were going to have to club their way to a win, and that's what they're doing tonight. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Red Sox.
It's almost like they said, okay, that's enough, boys.
Yeah. You pitchers sit down for a while. We'll take care of this. Jacoby Ellsbury, 2 more hits tonight. The first 5 batters in the lineup for the Red Sox all have 2 hits apiece. Breaking ball for a strike. Ellsbury, Scudero, Gonzalez, Pedroia, Ortiz all have 2 hits each. Hard to beat the Red Sox in a doubleheader. Beat them both games.
At Fenway and a split doubleheader. Everybody keeps saying, you know, they might be looking past the Orioles because they've got the Yankees coming up in New York. I think that first game might have been a wake-up call for them.
Bobby Cassava standing by, ready in that bullpen. Two-two ball game, and it's been a heck of a pitcher's duel back and forth. Takahashi in relief of Jerome Williams. Williams went 6 1/3. Ricky Romero has pitched 8.
Just trying to figure out a way to get a run for Romero. That might be all it takes, is just one, the way that he has been pitching.
It's almost the same pitch he fouled off his eye yesterday. Up and in. You got a little smile. Yeah. I've seen that pitch before.
Yeah, that high and tight fastball.
That was against Scott Proctor. It came in the 7th inning. And he would leave with a 3-2 count. David Cooper would come up and take the walk. Well, that's a big walk. Thames gets aboard. Mike Scioscia popped out of the Angels dugout. He's already made the call to the bullpen. It'll be the right-hander Bobby Cassava taking over with Jose Bautista ready to hit. It's a 2-2 game. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. New pitcher for the Angels. Same hitter for the Blue Jays. of discussion in the last few weeks about MVP and his candidacy. Well, you take a look at the best in baseball for the last 2 seasons. It's none other than Jose Bautista as far as major league rank in home runs, RBI, walks, and OPS. That's for 2 combined seasons. Bautista stands alone.
There's no question that he has been the best offensive player. When you look at some of those numbers up there, he is ahead of Albert Pujols, is second on that list in home runs. Pujols has just 78. Bautista with 96. Miguel Cabrera second in RBIs. Prince Fielder second in walks. Jose Bautista just blowing them all out of the water with his great numbers up there. And remember, they don't pitch to him.
Yep.
That's the important thing.
Pitch to him. Bobby Casava is in here to work with Thames at first, 1 out. It's a 2-2 game.
Casava has become a very go-to guy, if you will, for Mike Scioscia late in the ballgame. He's got a very good arm. He was recalled from AAA back in the middle of June, and his numbers have been great. Throws a fastball both sides of the plate, a curveball, and a nice split-finger fastball that he will use for strikeouts.
Blue Jays haven't seen a lot of Casava. Bautista has a plate appearance, but no official at bat.
He doesn't have any saves, but his stuff is very save-worthy. 10 strikeouts in his last 10 innings of work to go along with 3 holds.
I don't think Thames is going to run here.
I know he's not going to run.
I don't know, but I'm just going out on a limb. With Bautista hitting, I think you can bet that Thames is going to be anchored at first. The outfield is deep to guard against the double. Bautista with 42 home runs, 18 more home runs for the last 2 seasons than anyone else in baseball. Left-hander Scott Downs, the former Blue Jay. You can see the bullpen indicating that Downs is ready. His assignment will be Adam Lind, who's on deck. Bautista had a good look at that, thought it was upstairs.
And possibly in too, as he asked home plate umpire Marvin Hudson about that one. It wasn't up, and it looked like that might have caught the corner.
1-2. Ground ball. Kendrick gloves and goes to second to get the lead runner. Wow. Now, Ibar looks like they're calling him safe. Looked like he did call him out. I know what he was arguing about was interference, maybe get the double play, and now Scioscia's going to come out and talk with Ted Barrett at second.
Asked him if he kicked him as he went in there head first at second base, and kind of kicked at him a little bit. If you can reach the base, and I think Eric Thames could reach the base, I think that's why he's going to be okay. What a play by Kendrick to get to the ball and then to get the lead runner. But you can see, watch Thames when he slides, he's able to reach out and touch the bag, so it should be a legal slide. Nothing wrong with that.
It's plenty low. It's unorthodox. Normally you go with the feet toward the bag and you use the body to block out, and he goes in head first, and he didn't have his legs exceptionally high by any means. That was going to be an impossible ball to chew on. They were just hoping they might get a call from the umpire to call interference, but Thames is out on a terrific play by Howie Kendrick.
Wow, what a play. First of all, to get to it, then catch it, and then have the presence of mind to wheel and get the lead runner.
Now it's interesting. Bobby Cassavell stays in to pitch to Lind. Scott Downs is ready in the bullpen, and it looked as though he was going to be summoned into the game after Bautista's at bat, but that's not the case.
When Mike Scioscia went out to talk to the second base umpire, I was like, Adam Lind, run up to the plate quickly. Maybe he'll forget to bring in the left-hander.
Look at the play this infield has made. Mark Trumbo has played great at first all night long. The Angels infield has been good behind the Angels pitchers. Now it's time for a connected preview. Here's Martine Geyer. Ninth inning, he's thrown just 93 pitches, and he finds himself in a 2-2 tie. Bobby Abreu, Howie Kendrick, and Torrey Hunter for the Angels here in the ninth. Abreu hit a breaking ball into center field his last time up. He is 1 for 3. Casey Jansen begins to loosen up in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Just in case John Farrell wants to get that right-hander on. You know he's going to give Ricky a chance to finish this one. See if the Blue Jays can win it in the bottom of the inning.
Ricky has certainly earned that opportunity, the way he's pitched tonight and the way he's pitched in the second half of the season.
Still under 100 pitches as he starts the ninth inning. Last time he threw 9 innings, you have to go back to August the 18th at Oakland when he shut out the A's in that game on 3 hits.
Came out of his delivery there on that fastball and evens the count at 2-2. He made a great point in the open tonight about pitchers not having control over the winds, and this is another great example.
Yep. The one thing you can't control. You can just go out there, do your thing, pitch as well as you can, keep the opposition off the scoreboard. But if you can't, your team can't get you any runs, nothing you can control. He has had 3 games this year where he has pitched into the 7th inning. He's given up 2 earned runs or less, and he's come away with no decisions in those games.
Full count to the leadoff batter here in the ninth. Bounce towards second. Big hop for Kelly Johnson. Abreu's retired, 1 down. Jamie Campbell's got an update. Atlanta Braves holding on to that wild card spot. They have a 3.5 game lead over St. Louis. St. Louis is currently leading the Philadelphia Phillies and Roy Halladay. So the Braves trying to maintain that 3.5 game lead. Ricky Romero's season high in pitches is 126. But judging by where he's throwing the ball and how much life he's got on his pitches, he's not tired at all.
No, he's got plenty left in the tank. Watching him here.
Howie Kendrick. 3 balls and no strikes. Abreu grounded out to start the inning. Torrey Hunter is on deck. Hunter has one of 2 home runs Romero allowed here this evening. Another ground ball. McCoy at short. 2 down. We'll be right back here at Rogers Center tomorrow night. Game 2 of this 4-game series. Pre-game show will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. We'll follow them with number 2 of this 4-game series. Brett Cecil, the left-hander, goes to the mound against Joel Pinheiro. Brett Cecil bumped from his last start because of a cut on his pitching hand. He threw a side session here 2 days ago and announced himself fit to go. There's a little looper into center. Colby Erasmus will have to play it on a hop. Torrey Hunter is aboard with 2 outs.
Jams Torrey Hunter with that pitch, so he still has enough on his fastball. Watch him cut the ball in and jams it, and he pushes the ball into center field. Hunter with his 2nd hit of the night. And now he is a threat to steal. He only has 4 stolen bases this year.
Trumbo goes after that first pitch. Romero did a good job of unloading in a hurry. Torrey Hunter didn't have much of a chance to even think about a jump.
That's a very underrated part of Ricky Romero's game right there. Holding the running game down. Controlling that running game. He is quick to the plate. He does a good job of throwing over. He doesn't have a great left-hander's move, but he's got a very quick step-off move where he takes his foot off that rubber and snap throws over to first base.
Doing a good job of keeping that ball inside to Mark Trumbull. Romero has only had 21 attempts against him in now 31 starts. Hunter is not the threat he once was, but he has a very aggressive lead at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Got it. Curveball down and in. Aaron Sevilla will throw to first base, and Romero gets out of the ninth. The Blue Jays will need to score a run in the bottom of the ninth. The curveball from Romero strikes out Trumbull. Encarnacion, Johnson, and Laurie. performance. 9 innings, 2 runs on 6 hits, and he drops his season ERA to 2.98.
Had it all working tonight. Kept the ball down, got a lot of ground ball outs. Strikeouts were down, but that's okay. That helped keep the pitch count down. So now Jays have to figure out a way to score a run.
Edwin Encarnacion has gone 0 for 2 with the walk. He's grounded out twice. Liner into center. That'll get down in front of Borges. The leadoff man is aboard here in the ninth. Mike Scioscia will make a pitching change here. With Kelly Johnson, the scheduled batter, it'll be Scott Downs, the left-hander, former Blue Jays, coming in to face Kelly Johnson. The scheduled batter Kelly Johnson about Scott Downs coming into this game. J.P. Arancibia talking to Brett Laurie about Scott Downs as well. Remember, Arancibia had some insight to Kevin Gregg, a pitcher that pitched for the Jays last year. I'm sure he's got that same kind of insight on Scott Downs.
Yeah, because he caught him last year here with the Blue Jays. It's been a great year for Scott Downs. He's been in 55 games. He's only been scored upon in 6 of those games. He ranks second among the AL relievers in ERA at just 1.29. And being left-handed, better pickoff move than the right-hander Casava. So into the game now with Dwayne Wise, who has come in to pinch run for Edwin Encarnacion.
Kelly Johnson, lefty on lefty. Got Downs trying to see if the Blue Jays will chip their hand. Meister Asturias, the third baseman, in front of the bag at third. Johnson bunts right through it. Blue Jays short game hasn't been very good of late.
No, it certainly hasn't. Not on this homestand, being able to move runners. You see Mark Trumbo, the third baseman, or excuse me, the first baseman, not holding the runner on. That's to help him get a little bit better break towards the plate. If Johnson bunts it up to first base line, that's ideally where you'd like it to go if you're trying to sacrifice. Get it up the first base line.
Squares again and bunts it up the first base line. It's a good one. Scott Downs has nothing to do but let it roll, hoping it would go foul, and it didn't. What a bunt by Kelly Johnson. That changes the complexion of the inning.
Boy, it certainly does. a perfect bunt, just deadens it, hits it off the end of the bat, and Downs knows as he heads over there that this is going to be a tough play. Even if he picks it up, he's going to be right in the view of that base runner, right behind him. So his only play is to let it go and hope that it goes foul. Now the infield comes in. Brett Laurie is going to be at the plate, and I'm not so sure if he's going to bunt. They might let him swing away.
Squares to bunt, bunts it right out in front of home. Downs kind of got pushed up on it, and Laurie does his job. Looked like Wilson was going to go after. Downs kind of hesitated, but he made the play at first. Laurie gets the job done. So Brett Laurie with a perfect bunt, bunts it right out in front of home plate. Downs comes off the mound and then hesitates for a moment, but has time to make the play.
I bet you he wasn't asked too many times in AAA to bunt this year. That's the first time that we have seen him bunt since he's come to the big league. So he does the job. They get the runners to second and third, and now Mike Scioscia is going to talk about what they want to do here. It looks like they're going to bring Torrey Hunter in from from right field to come into the infield and play a 5-man infield.
Mike Scioscia obviously in a desperate situation. The Angels trying to keep their postseason hopes alive, and he is telling Torrey Hunter where he wants him to play in this situation. Jose Molina has come out on deck to pinch hit. Jose Molina had a big game winner against the Yankees, and Corey Wade going opposite field as he delivered the game-winning hit. That was the 11th walk-off win for the Blue Jays. It'll be interesting to see how Mike Scioscia handles his former catcher.
I'm guessing they're going to put him on. No? Set up the double play?
Doesn't look like it. They're going to move the infield defense, and Scioscia's moving the defense the way he wants them. 5 infielders, 2 outfielders. Winning run 90 feet away. Jose Molina has been a clutch hitter.
And early in the count, too. Jose Molina hasn't wasted any time.
Always aggressive early in the count. Downs knew that, threw one down and away. He's produced all season long in these situations. Molina's first at bat against Scott Downs. Ball and a strike.
He's going to try and get Jose Molina to fish for a ball. Something down or just off the plate. Dwayne Wise at third base does not have a very big lead, so it tells me that he's going to try and make the ball get through the infield in case it's on the ground. Don't want to get doubled up on a line drive either.
Stand down.
He's going to get him to try and fish for a ball. First base is open. See if Jose gets himself out. That's what Downs is trying to do right here.
Yeah, he didn't want to throw him a strike. Anything he can get to. Aaron Sevilla is on deck. 2-2 ball game. Dwayne Wise at third. Kelly Johnson at second. But Wise is the only runner that matters. Strike 3 call. Breaking ball. Downs crossed him up. Molina thought it was up and away. Marvin Hudson said nope. Downs comes backdoor with a breaking ball and strikes out Molina.
He stayed away from him, and then you're right, crossed him up. Brought that ball from way out and in, and Molina doesn't like it. Thought the ball was up and out.
Remember what we said about Bobby Wilson catching the ball? He caught that ball very well and gave Marvin Hudson a good look at it. 2 outs. JP Arencibia goes after the first pitch and just misses. Foul down the right side. 0-1. J.P. Arencibia had a walk-off hit against one of his former pitchers, Kevin Gregg, in the Orioles. Lays off that breaking ball. Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, you can bet he's reminded Dwayne Wise that Downs bounces that breaking ball a lot.
And with the third baseman playing a little bit deeper, Dwayne Wise can get off of there and anticipate that ball.
One for 9 tonight for the Jays with runners in scoring position. That was Arencibia's hit. Drives it to right. Torrey Hunter makes the running catch. Arencibia hit it hard, and we'll go to extra innings. Ricky Romero, 9 strong innings, ends up with a no decision. Marvin Hudson got into a heated discussion, and we're not sure if Hudson has thrown Farrell out. But you can bet it goes back to that Molina called strike 3. But Farrell came out to talk about the pitching change, and like I said, we're not sure if Farrell is still in the ball game or not. But it was a pretty heated discussion. Dwayne Wise came into the ball game as a pinch runner. He now moves into center field. David Cooper takes over at first base. Wise ran for Encarnacion. Casey Jansen is the new pitcher. Jose Molina was called out on what he thought was a high strike breaking ball. Casey Jansen has had a terrific season. Jansen, for the years, ERA is under 2. This is just a great stretch for Casey Jansen.
He has solidified his role, I think, at the back end of that bullpen for the Blue Jays. Cutting the ball has always been a strike thrower, but this year his fastball isn't straight anymore. It moves away from right-handers, and he's able to put it on the outside corner. He'll use it effectively against left-handers.
Casey Jansen has allowed just 1 earned run in his last 21 and a third innings. That's a span of 19 games. High drive center field. Dwayne Wise is not going to get this one. It's off the wall. Wells is headed for second, and he'll get there with a stand-up leadoff double. Jansen got that fastball up right in the wheelhouse for Vernon Wells.
You got to make Vernon reach for that ball. He's very good on the high fastball, but this one is right in the middle of the plate. If he reaches for it, those are the ones that we see him hit to right field. His time in the middle of the field, gets on top of it, banks it over the head of Wise with a leadoff double.
Now Aaron Sebia and Laurie, mini conference on the mound, talking about Peter Borges, the hitter, and a possibility of a bunt.
He is a very good bunter. He's got 15 bunt hits, but he's probably going to be asked here to sacrifice. Wells over to third base.
Vernon Wells at second. Borges, a good bunter, squares to bunt. Bunts it up the third baseline, and Jansen thought about third. They go to first and get Borges. Good bunt by Peter Borges, his 6th sacrifice bunt of the season, and the go-ahead run is at third.
That's what speed can do for you with Wells at second base. The bunt wasn't that good, and Jansen's a very good fielder. He popped off that mound quickly. But Wells got a great jump at second base. His speed gets him into third base. Borges has another sacrifice. Now the infield has to come in. And Ibar's another very good bunter.
You always have to be aware of the squeeze with Mike Scioscia's Angels. They have a good combination with Wells at third and Ibar at the plate. Breaking pitch gets ahead.
Alberto Callaspo has picked up a bat. He is now on deck.
Outside. Blue Jays have not lost an extra inning game here at home this season. They are 9-0. Overall, 11-4 in extra inning games. Might take a shot at pitching out right here, even though it's 1-on-1. Casey Jansen's been a strike thrower. Inside. Got the swing and a miss. John Farrell has Luis Perez loosening up, the left-hander. Boy, the Angels have the benefit of 5 switch hitters on their roster. Really puts the opposition in a bind.
You just can't pitch. You know, you can't bring in a lefty to face a lefty, a righty versus a righty. Ibar's a switch hitter. Callaspo is a switch hitter. The player on deck.
Up and away. Mentioned Ibar had a career game yesterday. There's a look at Callaspo loosening up. Ibar went 4 for 4 against the Orioles yesterday. He is 1 for 3 so far. He was robbed of a base hit on a good play by Mike McCoy back in the third.
He is a switch hitter, Ibar, and batting left-handed. He hits almost 100 points higher from the left side than he does from the right side.
Got it. What a pitch by Casey Jansen. Down and in, knee-high fastball with a little late movement.
He has handled the left-handed batters this year with this pitch here. Gets on top of that pitch and cuts it just underneath the bat of Ibar for a big second out.
Wells at third base now with 2 outs. Alberto Callaspo. Batting for the catcher, Bobby Wilson. Callaspo 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter. Fouls off the first pitch. Ball and a strike. We'd like to welcome you that have been watching the Phillies-Cardinals game. We are in the extra innings here. Top of the 10th inning, Vernon Wells at third base with 2 outs in a 2-2 ball game. Casey Jansen in his first inning of relief, in relief of Ricky Romero. Jansen gave up the leadoff double to Vernon Wells, and then Wells was moved to third base on a sacrifice bunt by Peter Borges. And then Jansen struck out Eric Ibar. And now Chris Walton has come out of the Blue Jays dugout. The pitching coach wants to have a chat with Casey Jansen. For those of you that have just joined us, Ricky Romero had another great start here tonight. Romero went 9 innings, allowed 6 hits, 2 runs. Both those runs came on solo home runs. Torrey Hunter homered in the second. Mark Trumbo, the rookie, homered to lead off the 5th. J.P. Arencibia drove in both runs for the Blue Jays on a 2-out, 2-run single to right.
The only mistakes he made all night were those home run balls. He did walk a batter also. That's the first time he's done that since August the 7th.
Breaking ball. Laurie waits on it. Takes his time and throws him out. Casey Jansen pitches around the leadoff double by Vernon Wells. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays directly for more information at 341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com. Stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Scott Downs got out of the bottom of the 9th inning. Comes back to start the 10th. Downs came on with a man on and nobody out. Struck out Jose Molina on a high breaking ball and then got J.P. Arencibia to line out to right. Jeff Mathis into the ball game defensively behind the plate. Mike McCoy is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Blue Jays have had some opportunities tonight against the Angels, but they haven't been able to deliver clutch hits. J.P. Arencibia, the only hit in 10 at-bats with runners in scoring position. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
Angels pitching staff is good. We just saw the New York Yankees in town here, and their relief pitching is #1 in the American League in terms of earned run average. Well, right behind them are these guys right here, the Angels. They're right up there also, second in earned run average at 3.3. They're deep, And they've been in these positions before.
2-2. Scott Downs has had some first season with the Angels. As Pat mentioned earlier, he's been scored upon just 6 times in his 55 outings. Ground ball to short. Ibar bobbles it. And McCoy's on base. He's got to get back. He made a turn towards second. So McCoy reaches on an air. That bobble at shortstop and then the low throw.
They usually don't beat themselves. This is a very good fielding team. They're third in the American League in errors. This ball in the hole. Bobbles it right there and then tries to throw him out. How about Jeff Mathis, the catcher, all the way down the line? Watch him follow Mike McCoy all the way down the line to back this ball up when Trumbo misses it. McCoy had thoughts of going to second, but Mathis all the way down there to back him up.
Yeah, there's only a handful of catchers in baseball that back up that play anymore. It used to be a requirement, but Mathis was right there, and that saves the Angels for the time being. Eric Thames. First a check on McCoy.
Trumbo tries to dig it out. He goes down to dig it out, pulls his glove up too quickly, and there's the ball down the line at Mathis from behind the plate all the way down there to back it up.
No reason to sacrifice in this situation with Bautista on deck. Even if he was successful, they just walk Bautista.
You're just taking the bat right out of your best hitter's hand. Give Eric Thames a chance to yank that ball to right field. He hasn't had problems hitting left-handers this year.
One of Downs' weapons against lefty hitters is that breaking ball, and he has a tendency to bounce that ball in dirt.
Yeah, he'll throw it any time also. He's got very good control with his fastball. He'll throw his breaking ball anytime, and he's got good control of that. If it's bounced, there's a reason for it. Looks like he wants to establish inside against Thames, get him thinking inside, and now he's going to drop that breaking ball on him.
McCoy has to have that conversation with Torey Lovello. Lovello reminding him, hey, you'll throw that breaking ball in the dirt. Short pass ball, wild pitch. You've got to be thinking about second base.
And it's your secondary lead, which is the key if you're going to try and move up.
We're staying inside on Thames. Jeff Mathis very aggressive behind the plate and throwing behind the runners. They will pick at any base. He plays a very aggressive position behind the plate. He'll throw anytime. Eric Thames, a base hit to center field. Peter Borges comes in quickly. It's first and second. Nobody out. Thames delivers against the lefty.
Yeah, he hasn't had any problem versus the lefties. He knows he's got to keep that front shoulder in. And after a couple of pitches, I think he sensed that he was coming inside again. And sets it up for Bautista. Nobody throwing in the bullpen.
No place to put Bautista that won't create more problems for the Angels. Socha reminding his infield, we'll go for 2 here. Infield is at double play depth. Nobody out.
Bautista, this is where he has got to make Scott Downs come to him. Downs is always trying to pick at that corner, trying to take a little something off, trying to get you to go outside of your comfort zone.
Bouncing ball to third. Second for one, bobbled by Kendrick, and the out is at second, but they only get one. Kendrick was in the act of taking the ball out of his glove. McCoy moves to third. Bautista is at first. Boy, that was a great opportunity for the Angels, and they couldn't convert.
That was tailor-made right there for a double play. The third baseman on one bounce, his momentum taking him to the bag. He gives him a good feed, but Kendrick just can't get it, can't transfer it into his throwing hand. Drops it. Umpire says that he was trying to transfer it, so the out is recorded at second. It's now first and third again. And Torrey Hunter now comes in from right field, just like we saw last inning.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Another five-man infield. They used it last inning, and it worked out.
You've got three left-handers in a row now for the Blue Jays.
Lind and then Wise, who came on as a pinch runner for Encarnacion in the ninth. Lind with the big day at the plate yesterday. Pair of home runs. Bautista at first, McCoy at third. Breaking ball. Blue Jays can really push the issue here if Bautista can get a big jump at first. The infield is going to come home. Obviously, they can't afford to play back for a double play.
You know, I think they're conceding that base to Jose Bautista. The only problem is if Lynn swings and hits a line drive. Inning over. You can see how far in they are.
John Farrell has just called for somebody to come up, a right-handed hitter. And he's reminding Wise, make sure you look at me before you go to the plate. 2-0, one out. Lynn hits it, coming home for the ball. Safe, and the Blue Jays win it. Mike McCoy scores. The Blue Jays walk off the Angels here in the 10th. Adam Lynn hit the ball to the five-man infield.
And it was Torrey Hunter, the right fielder, who came in to play at second base. Not used to those types of plays where you field a ground ball. His throw was a little wild, and the Blue Jays had another walk-off win.
Their 12th walk-off win of the season. That ties the San Francisco Giants. You can see Trumbull dove for it. Hunter's throw is wide and in the dirt. Mathis can't hang on. Torrey Hunter coming in from right field, gloved it, no problem, but when he threw home, he bounced it to the outside of home plate. Mathis can't handle it, and McCoy scores the winning run. McCoy got a great break on contact and scores easily. The Blue Jays win it 3-2. Casey Jansen improves to 6-0. Stay tuned. Jays Connected up next. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn.